Sometimes it's not the big things that take us down. It's that one moment, a single traumatic event that shifts your path in life just 1 or 2 degrees. It's not a full crash and it's not a slight deviation, but if you don't catch it, it pulls you further and further away from yourself on this new trajectory instead of your straight trajectory that you were on. And if you don't stop, and I mean truly stop, to process it, you'll find yourself in a spiral months later, wondering what is happening to me. That's what happened to me. Back in January, I did something on a gut feeling. I decided to test myself for mold. I'd been concerned about the house, but I thought, let me check first. It's cheaper, it's faster, I'll just start there. And the results? 14 types of mycotoxins in my body and my brain. My first thought was, if I have this much mold, what about the kids? What's happening in their guts? This must be tied to why their stool test just came back so problematic. This is bad. So I tested the house and we found it. Black mold in the laundry room, black mold in a room downstairs. And again, even worse, it was in this baseboard of the downstairs room. Didn't look like a big deal, but it was a big deal. Now, here's the thing. That room wasn't just a guest room. It actually belonged to someone our family deeply loved, someone who we just lost 2 years ago. And so as soon as I realized that we'd have to tear that room apart, something inside of me broke because I knew that we were going to completely reopen this trauma for my children. And that was something I couldn't even process how I was going to hold space for that wound to open back up again. So the mold had spread 10 feet into the room, and we had to throw out the bedspread, the furniture, the ancient books. They were moldy, they were unsalvageable. So I boxed them up for now. I don't even know what to do to them because I know the children want them back. So I just had them removed and held in limbo. And even though this was a physical cleanup, it triggered something really emotional in me because I could feel the trauma, not just mine, but the children's. And I felt like I was tearing apart a sacred space. Like I was re-tearing open this wound myself. And how was I going to put it back together in any sort of clean way that would still feel sacred? Now, it shouldn't have been that traumatic. It was just mold. But it was. And here's what I want to say. Trauma isn't always logical. It's energetic. It's emotional. It's layered. And in that moment, I knew my Ojas was depleted. My resilience was crashing. And even though I processed some of it, I didn't actually stop and say, okay, let me just take a month and rebuild myself. I thought, okay, I've taken a month to rip up this room, refurnish and reset this house. I've got to get back to work. I've got 100 things piled up. And so I just kept going for that list and went back into my full pace life. And 4 months later, almost to the week, my hair started falling out. My hair started falling out in handfuls. It was scary. I ran to my amazing doctor team and said, what is it? What is this? Suddenly I was in a tailspin. Was it my hormone replacement therapy? Was it my micronutrients? Was it the testosterone I was taking? Was it the thyroid stuff? What's going on? But then I remembered what I teach my clients. After any traumatic event, like a surgery, like anything, you must stop and rebuild Ojas first. Ojas is our life vitality. That's the byproduct of perfect digestion of everything in our lives. Weakened Agni, weakened digestion, and any trauma can throw out and deplete Ojas. And then we wonder, why do we have no glow, no energy, no vibrancy? That is your Ojas. And so you have to pause and calm the Vata energy, the elementals that get imbalanced in any big traumatic event. You must restore your baseline and the foundation. And in that moment, it hit me. I had triggered a cascade of mental inflammation at a catastrophic level. And that's the concept that came to me while writing my book, The Inflammation Code. the idea that inflammation isn't just happening in the body, it's happening in the mind. And I knew that's what this was: mental inflammation, the trauma, the fear for my kids, the physical exposure to mold for my children and myself. How were we going to heal our guts from that? That's a lot of work. It had disrupted my entire nervous system. It had elevated Vata. It had depleted Ojas. It had inflamed my brain and my gut, which was a new project. And yes, I had done some healing work. I did it at that time, but not enough. So I made a decision. This summer, I'm stopping. I'm taking time to restore and rebuild. Because if I don't stop now, the pattern just continues. And the next crash will be even harder. My body is telling me that. It's like, how much hair would you like to lose? Do you want to lose all of it? I don't think so. And I want to say this to you too. We all go through trauma. We do. Some of us annually, some of us every couple of years, some of us it's every few months. And we're not that lucky that it's just every couple of years. But it's not about whether trauma happens. It's actually about how we respond. It's that if we push through it, if we suppress it, if we override it, we carry that inflammation forward and it spirals. It buries itself deep in our gut, in our hormones, in our sleep. And that's why the Ayurvedic lens is so powerful. Ayurveda teaches us that trauma lives in the tissues. It throws our doshas out of balance. It weakens our Agni. It builds ama, or toxin residue that's sticky all throughout us, that takes work to get rid of. It depletes Ojas, that vitality, that inner vibrancy. And if we don't pause to detox physically, mentally, energetically, we pay the price. That's why after any trauma, we start with grounding Vata, rebuilding Ojas, restoring rhythm, and then nourishing from the inside out. Inside out, not outside in. But we do both. We nourish from the outside in, but especially from the inside out. Then and only then do we move forward. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm slowing down. I'm prioritizing these warm, easy to digest meals and making sure I'm off my phone and I'm focusing on them so I actually receive the benefits of that food. I'm doing abhyang massage, self-massage to calm my nervous system. I'm back to doing all my warm and nourishing self-care habits. I'm using breath work to build resilience. I'm heavily leaning on herbs like ashwagandha and brahmi to rebuild my mind, my nervous system, my ojas, support my entire stress hormone system from the ground up. I'm spending time outside, walking more in nature because nature heals all. And I'm taking time for rest, real rest, not because it's indulgent, but because it's intelligent. This is what we all need after trauma. We have to make that space. So if you've gone through something recently, if something set you off course, even by just 1 degree, please don't ignore it. Stop, rebuild, restore, recalibrate. That's the work of every season we have, and this season especially post-trauma. It's not about pushing forward. It's not about piling on more. It's about healing from the inside out. Because if we don't stop the pattern, it becomes a cycle of inflammation, a cycle of depletion. And we deserve better. If this resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who's been pushing too hard for too long. That's what my friends normally say to me. You are pushing too hard all the time. Settle down, girl. And I need that reminder. So let's stop normalizing burnout. Let's start honoring recovery. And sometimes we need to remind ourselves, recovery allows for more productivity. You have to slow down to take faster turns on the racetrack. And let's come back to ourselves fully. Let's cool those fires of inflammation. Let's show our body that we have the toolkit and we're going to use the ancient Ayurvedic toolkit. And we're going to come back to ourselves healthy, whole, nourished, and vibrant. See you in the next video.